a lot of people go through life and they don't ever get to a point where they're actually pursuing a calling. Like they don't find a purpose. And it's horrible to think about how many people live and die without ever really feeling alive. I think that's a large percentage of the population, especially in modern countries where things are easy, convenient, there's all these amenities, and that kills the human spirit. Because there's this aspect of suffering and struggle that is essential to really tap into the human spirit and really thrive in life. You know, like the times that I feel most alive are when I'm in my cold plunge, when I'm working out, when I'm on a long bike ride, when I'm suffering, you know. I've been on these long runs and these bike rides and training for an Ironman. And, you know, just in these moments of like literally suffering, there's no other way to describe it, where you're starving, you just want water, your body's shutting down. But when you go through those experiences, you tap into this inner strength that most people never experience. What's going on, you guys? Sean Crane. I'm back in the at-home workout spot slash podcast studio for today. I got Matt Fleming joining me. We're smoking a cigar. I wanted to just, you know, do a YouTube video, do a podcast style kind of Q&A with Matt and cover a bunch of topics. So like every week I'm intentional with the YouTube videos I put out. These are things that I'm thinking about, things that I'm going through in my own life, and I just want to share them on this platform. I do a lot of Facebook Lives and I share a lot of content on other platforms, and I want to use this YouTube channel as a way to educate people, inspire people, build a community, and change the world, man. That's the mission I'm on, and that stems from knowing what it's like to suffer, going through a lot of hardships early on. All the struggles that I went through early on gave me a perspective that's very unique and fortunate for myself. I love my life. I'm grateful for every day. And so I just want to share with you guys what we're doing, like the mission that we're on with Unstoppable, the men that we coach, the work that we're doing, like the vision that I have, because I think a lot of people go through life and they don't ever get to a point where they're actually pursuing a calling. Like they don't find a purpose. And it's horrible to think about how many people live and die without ever really feeling alive. I think that's a large percentage of the population, especially in modern countries where things are easy, convenient, there's all these amenities, and that kills the human spirit. Because there's this aspect of suffering and struggle that is essential to really tap into the human spirit and really thrive in life. You know, like the times that I feel most alive are when I'm in my cold plunge, when I'm working out, when I'm on a long bike ride, when I'm suffering, you know. I've been on these long runs and these bike rides and training for an Ironman. And, you know, just in these moments of like literally suffering, there's no other way to describe it, where you're starving, you just want water, your body's shutting down. But when you go through those experiences, you tap into this inner strength that most people never experience. And that's what prison also did for me. It forced me to look within and find strength in myself that I didn't know I had. So lately I've been thinking a lot about life and death. It's just been on my mind every day. Life and death, and particularly death, and the understanding that I will die. Like this time here is limited. And you hear my words, you know this too, but you actually don't feel that it's real and you don't believe it's true. Most people don't, because you've never experienced it. And it's really hard to fully understand something that you haven't experienced for yourself. I'm sure you've had loved ones die, you've seen it on the TV, the news, you might have seen car accidents, maybe you saw someone die in front of you, but have you ever died? Have you died and come back to life? No, you haven't, right? We hear stories of that happening to people, but nobody's experienced it for themselves to the point where they really understand how temporary and precious this journey is. And so the thing I've been thinking about every day is, if I do die tomorrow, or if I do die tonight in my sleep, did I live my life to the fullest? Did I give my all to every moment? Was I the person that my wife and children needed? Was I the best man for them? Did I pursue my vision with everything that I had, or did I hold back? These are the things I've been thinking about every day, and what it's doing is it's helping me in all of my decisions to be that much more analytical and critical of everything that I do, because every second is precious, right? And I want to make sure that I'm very intentional with how I live and what I do while I'm here on this planet. My vision is to change the world. I want to impact the world in such a massive way because I know how many people are out there suffering. I know that pain. You might be in a different set of circumstances that I was in prison or growing up with drug addicted parents and losing my parents. However, the pain, the way it's interpreted internally and emotionally is very similar. So we might be different, but we're very similar. Those of you watching this who have gone through struggles, you've gone through trauma, you're at a point in your life where you're not thriving, you don't feel like you're living your purpose. I know what that's like. I lived that way for 23 years, and I had an act of God, divine intervention. I was sent to prison and facing life in prison, and it gave me the opportunity, pay attention to the choice of words here, the opportunity to finally take back control of my life. And so I know it's possible for everyone. If I could do it in a 6x8 cell with absolutely nothing at 23 years old, facing life in prison, you can change your life right now. You can change everything in your life that's holding you back. Anything that you don't like, you can get rid of. The people, the things that you're doing every day, the job that you hate, like whatever it is right now, you can change it. So the first step is recognizing that that's possible. That's the very first step, recognizing that you have the power to change your life. Then recognizing that every decision you make is so important and it's going to impact the quality of your life and the life that you create going forward, right? So you have to understand that. So my mission and my purpose stem from my pain and knowing what's at stake. I truly feel like I died and got a second chance at life. And I remember when I was going through this transformation in jail, I didn't know how to describe it to people. I would try to tell them on the phone calls I would get. I would try to write it in letters, and I never knew how to describe what I was feeling. I remember one day I was writing my dad a letter back home, and I told him, Dad, I feel like my entire life I was seeing in black and white, and now I can see in color. Like that was the only way I could describe what had happened internally to me, you know? And it was ironic that I had to go to prison to really find freedom, because freedom is something that we experience within. It's not being able to run in an open field. It's not being able to live in America. Those are aspects of freedom. But freedom, true freedom, is here and here. It's a state of being. It's an understanding about yourself and what you're capable of in life. No restraint, no restriction, no fear, no limitations in your fucking thinking. But so many of you are imprisoned in your own mind, right? By the way you think, by the way that you believe. Like your self-talk, you're imprisoned and you don't even realize that you are the one that put yourself there. That's why I wrote my book, Prison of Your Own, because I want to share with the world how to change your life, how to change your mindset, how to change the narrative in between your fucking ears so that you can take the ultimate control back and live the life that you want. So that's my purpose. That's my mission, is to help people live a life that they love and cherish, to help people to recognize that they're in the ultimate control of their destiny, but most people are the ones holding themselves back. And I think a lot of people have a tough time understanding this because they want to blame the government, they want to blame their parents, they want to blame everyone else instead of looking in the mirror and being honest with themselves. But if you're not willing to look in the mirror and get honest with yourself, you're never going to be able to change your life, because you're the one that put yourself there. You're the one that gained the weight. You're the one that chose that job. You're the one that got to that financial situation. You're the one that parents your children. You're the one that chose your wife. You are the motherfucker that's creating your life. And until you take complete ownership of that, you can't change anything, because you're going to be in this state of denial where you continue to run from the truth and do the things you've been doing. So number one thing I want you to recognize and take away from this clip is that you are in control and you are creating the life that you're living. No one else can force you to do anything. No one else can impose their beliefs on you unless you let them. Nobody else can dictate how you live your life. You have to recognize that you are going to die, and everybody on this planet right now in 150 years will no longer be here. Stop worrying about what the fuck they think. Stop worrying about failing in front of people. Stop worrying about being judged. Stop worrying about all that stuff. Stop letting fear dictate how you live your life, and recognize that you have a truth inside of you, that feeling inside of your heart about who you want to be, right? You have a calling, you have a purpose. It's been gifted to you, but it's also a responsibility. And until you take this responsibility, you take ownership of it, and you're courageous enough to take massive action every single day for as long as it takes, you're going to be just like everybody else who coasts through life, giving half-ass effort, and then on your deathbed, you're going to think about what could have been. You're going to think about who you could have become. You're going to think about all the things you could have changed. And those are the memories that are going to haunt you. Those are the thoughts that you're going to have on your deathbed, and those regrets will torment you until the day you take your last breath. I'm here to be living proof and an example of what's possible. I want to let you know that you have everything inside of you to live the most exceptional, amazing life you could ever fathom. And until you believe that, though, and take ownership of that belief, nothing's going to change in your life. Let's fucking go.